Well, it's certainly not an easy time for the hospitality industry. So how is it handling Valentine's Day this coming weekend, given the pandemic? Andrew Rigie joins me now live via Skype. He's the Executive Director of the New York City Hospitality Alliance. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So just how important is Valentine's Day to the retail and hospitality sectors versus, say, other holidays?
You know, Valentine's Day is always extremely busy for the restaurant industry. And because it was falling on a Sunday this year, originally a lot of restaurateurs were heartbroken because they were going to lose out on the Friday and Saturday business, which many people celebrate when it falls on a Sunday. So the governor did bump it up until Friday tonight. That's great. People are able to make a little bit more money. Workers can earn some more tips as well, because it's a dire situation here for New York City restaurants. It's a really, really tough time.
And so given the number of people who are employed by these industries, I mean, how are they really managing during this COVID era of Valentine's Day with all these different guidelines?
Yeah, I mean, managing is really tough. We've already lost thousands of restaurants in New York City over the past year. Countless more are teetering on the edge of survival. We've lost more than 140,000 jobs in New York City's restaurants and bars. So they're doing everything they can. They've invested in air filtration systems, plexiglass, all these other safety protocols. You know, it just was such a tough industry before the pandemic, but now considering everything, it just has compounded those challenges by so much more. But, you know, what other choice do they have? They're trying to save their businesses. People are trying to feed their families and pay their rent. So they're trying to make the best out of a really, really trying situation.
So then what kind of deals are hotels and restaurants offering to attract customers, especially in cities where indoor dining is either closed or limited?
Yeah, you know, the thing is, they're trying to offer different deals, you know, where you can get, you know, multi-course meals. A lot have pivoted. They're doing takeout and delivery. Our tourism agency here, NYC & Co., had launched a great restaurant week this year focused on takeout and delivery. People have been selling merchandise like hats and shirts. But the reality is, none of this is enough to save the industry. We really need the federal government to enact the Restaurants Act, which is a revitalization fund to help pay for rent, utilities, payroll, vendor expenses, and coupling that with safely increasing occupancy, getting more people vaccinated, so we can try to get back to as pre-pandemic normal as possible as soon as possible. Unfortunately, it's going to be a long road ahead still.
So then what are the revenue expectations for this year for these sectors compared to, say, a typical year?
Oh, I mean, people are doing, you know, 25% of what they did, 30% of what they did in past years. Some people even worse. I mean, you know, people have been exhausting their personal savings to try to stay open, take out loans. Pre-pandemic, when restaurants had 100% occupancy and there were 70 million tourists coming to New York City and the office towers were busy and the restaurants and bars were popping and really, you know, hopping, it was so tough to survive. So now, you know, if you're doing 30% of what you were doing, I mean, maybe you're considering yourself fortunate, but restaurants operate on single-digit profit margins in good times. So, you know, there's not anyone making money now. It's really about survival. Unfortunately, we've already lost way too many businesses and made way too many jobs.
And as you mentioned, pivot really is sort of the unfortunate theme that a lot of these industries have had to turn to. So what other sorts of gifts or services or unique experiences are consumers buying? Are there any surprises there?
Well, one thing that was really good we did here in the state of New York is allow alcohol to go. So people are doing great cocktails to go. Alcohol tends to be more profitable than food for your margin, so that's a good thing. Restaurants have been creative. They've done these dinner kits where you can basically order your favorite dishes from your favorite restaurants paired with your favorite cocktails or wine, get it delivered in a really nice box, and then either cook some of the food or just basically pop it in the oven. And it's like you're having that restaurant cuisine and drink experience in your own home. You don't get the ambiance of the restaurant, but it's been a nice thing some restaurants have been doing. Again, it's not going to save the industry, but we're really looking for all revenue streams that we can get.
And of course, given that it is Valentine's Day, how have online dating services been faring and how have they managed to sort of adapt during this time?
Well, that's an interesting thing. I've spoken with some restaurateurs, and they see people that are going on these social distance dating, dates at restaurants when we had outdoor dining, now with indoor dining. But clearly, it's not the same. It's a little bit awkward. I think, people who have masks take the masks off. They're trying to talk. They don't get too close. So, everything happening in society right now is just so bizarre from how we remember it. I guess we're kind of getting used to it because we're a year into it, but it's not something you can really get used to. So, restaurants are trying to accommodate people in the best ways they can, whether they're going on a first date, whether they're just trying to get out and go on a date because they're married and haven't been out for a while, or they're just trying to get together with some friends. So restaurants and bars really are not only an economic driver, but they're vital to the social landscape of the city. These are our social spaces. And New York City's economy will not recover until New York City's restaurant industry recovers. But our social and cultural recovery requires the restaurant and nightlife industry to recover too, in order for New York City to get back to the greatness that we were pre-pandemic.
Certainly important to note. Thank you so much. Andrew Rigie there, Executive Director of the New York City Hospitality Alliance.
Thank you.